It's now time for us to look at what the papers are reporting this morning. Let's quickly breeze through the headlines of the dailies before we get down to brass tacks. The Nation newspaper is the first with me here with the headline, Tinubu, we are wrestling down economic monsters. Abga backs president for second term and president promises secured erosion-free Southeast. The next paper will be the Nigerian News Direct, talking about Nigerians should exercise more patience. We are getting stronger daily. That's according to President Tinubu. The Punch newspaper is also talking in the light of the president saying that the newly acquired presidential jet flown to South Africa. Tinubu using leased aircraft for foreign local travels. Blueprint is next. Foreign herders behind attacks on Benue Plateau communities. That's according to Defense Headquarters. And then the next will be this Nigeria talking about the new papacy in Rome. Peace be upon you all. New Pope greets the crowds at the Vatican. Leo XVI becomes first American to head Catholic Church. Trump, it's great honor for us, for US rather, yes, us as well. Tinubu, world leaders hail Pope. And Weekend Hope has the political angle. Ondo Goba poll fallout. Aiyedatiwa triumphs over Edema at appeal court. And the very last paper for review today, hopefully, is the Sporting Live with the major headline. Fenerbahce president confesses Osimhen too big for Turkey, or Turkey as it changed the name. Guys, let's get down to brass tacks. Veronica, Ria and Olamide. Veronica, let me start with you. With the president, after visiting Anambra yesterday for, inauguration of projects, legacy projects by Charles Soludo, he's saying that we are wrestling down economic monsters. And I think he's using that word because people said, come on, get down, throw your gauntlets into the ring or throw your towels into the ring and start fighting. And he said, we've been fighting. Of course, he has been fighting. It is if he's getting the needed support from both sub-nationals, the ministers, the National Assembly, to do the needful at the end of the day, such that the average Nigerian would know and feel the impact of what the president is doing, because he cascades his ideas. Of course, remember that he brought forth his program when he was even coming on board as the president, and he talked about, that was why he even removed the fuel subsidy in the first place. And he put in measures to address the shocks and the impact of all of that. He was meant to work hand in glove with the governors who were to provide every other thing, the monies necessary to, ensure that there were no shocks and people do not feel the impact of the shocks of removal, were given to the state governors. And then every other things were put in place. We had ministers who were meant to also champion, who had the portfolio to addressing matters of our economy. How far have they gone with ensuring that every idea put forward by the president is done to the letter to give us the needed results? That's right. Of course, if you ask the average Nigerian, they'll give you divergent views because of how it impacts their life. There are those who will say, yes, he's actually doing this, and there are those who are saying, no, we are not feeling the impact yet. But at the end of the day, it is that the president see to the fact that every of his ideas and those who are working with him ensure that they do it to the letter, and the average Nigerian can live and sleep happy. Absolutely. Ria, Veronica reminded us of fuel subsidy, even though the impact is still living with us. Some would say, especially the cynics, are saying that nothing is happening to the economy is getting bad. But, we have a whole lot of people who reckon. In fact, IMF is saying that, yeah, we've paid our debt. We've resolved our debt with the IMF. But the president is also saying that we should exercise patience with him and that we are getting stronger daily.
And I'll say something to you, Ibrahim. Nigeria is a very large country. The population is not even, it's a lot.
It's huge, yeah.
To be the person heading the whole of Nigeria is not child's play. Nigerians will say, no be beans, no be moi. It's not a small thing. I believe that, over a period of time, even though a lot of people may have different opinions, but we can see that some things have been put in place. We spoke about fuel subsidy. We speak about the healthcare system. We know how passionate he is about healthcare. We speak about infrastructure. I believe sometimes we need to give people even the chance to show themselves. I believe that most times we Nigerians, we are always quick to say, oh, it's not well, oh, it's not well. And sometimes we don't even know that our bad mouth is what is even putting us more in the trouble. I think that we really need to give him this time to see what he can do. And as you said as well, he needs support. He cannot do it alone. Nigeria is not we're not talking about a small country. We're talking about Nigeria. You understand? With that kind of population, I really think that, we should give him the time, a little bit of patience, and let's see what happens. I don't also think that the economy is just like this. We may be like somewhere here, but it's not on the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Olamide, the thing is, we focus largely on the federal government, on the president, but then forgetting that we have governors who are supposed to play their roles, as well as the local government, chairman, and the councillors who will rush to Abuja whenever they get into office.
I believe we all have a role to play in implementing Nigeria's, the president's economic reforms. But I definitely think that there is a very big disconnect between the economic narratives that we are fed by the government and the daily realities of Nigerians on the ground. I think that a lot of us fail to understand and see how these economic reforms are. Well, we know that the subsidies are great in the long term for Nigeria's economy, but it's like the economy is growing, but our pockets are increasingly shrinking. And so numbers don't lie. Economics is a game of numbers. We want to see the projections. When are these economic reforms going to start making impact in our daily lives is what we want to know. I also think that as a young person, there's a lot of economic miseducation and misinformation going around. We don't really understand, a lot of young people, what these subsidies and what these economic reforms entail. They are very, very vague. And I think it's a job of the government to educate us in order for us to be able to exercise that patience, right? When we understand the numbers and the projections, we're able to say, we're going to wait, and we're going to help you wait as the economy gets better.
It's also the job of the average young person
to educate themselves.
Absolutely. Government cannot do everything for you. There are bigger issues. So when you're talking about being educated, if government is not, government cannot do all of that for you. Do that for yourself.
And I say something, most of the times, Veronica, we tend to always say, any problem government, whatever problem government, you falling down is the government. I think that sometimes we as citizens, we need to take charge, because we make up of the government. Like, if we are not there, then where is the government? So I think that as young people, because we are young people, we are like the Gen Zs, Olamide, we are the young people. I think it's very important that we also read and understand our economy, because most people don't understand it, but they just want to spend.
Absolutely. But I think our daily realities make it hard for us to exercise this patience, but it is necessary.
And I think we also need to open our eyes to see what are the changes that are happening, because we do not expect a country that had been battered, that had been destroyed for several years, lackluster administration that went before this administration, and you expect this administration to correct all of these anomalies over the years.
It's not like magic.
So do not think of what your country will do for you. Think of what you do.
And somebody did mention, I saw some rhetoric online. They said that economy is like genetics. It's handed over, it's inherited time after time.
Absolutely.
It's mutated, and it's now a current. You know what I mean? So if we look at it that way, we'll understand a bit better.
Most definitely. Let's go to Blueprint newspaper, which is talking about the insecurity. This is foreign herders behind attacks on Benue Plateau communities. That's according to Defense Headquarters. And you can see that this is a very serious thing. Veronica, but the troop in Taraba said they nabbed 4 terrorists, 5-member kidnap syndicate in Lafia. This goes to show how much we are working on, what we are doing regarding the Nigerian data. How is our data bank? How rich is it? Because when we say foreign terrorists, foreign herders are behind this, how did they get into this country in the first place?
Right, that's the big question to ask, because we have persons who are meant to ensure that our borders are secure enough such that foreigners do not come in and cause mayhem. So if we have this information, what are we doing with it to addressing the security challenges that we say we are facing? And it's important that as much as possible, now that we know what the issues are, let us begin to strategize and address the matter. I recall that the Plateau State Governor had imposed a curfew and said that herders should not move at certain times of the day in the state. And he also mentioned that it was foreign herders that are coming in to cause mayhem in his state. So it's important that then now, if they know the countries where these herders are from, there should be that diplomatic conversation saying, your people are coming to cause problem in our home.
Our own country.
Let's look at how we can ensure that they do not come in. Even though we know we have that free movement and all of it for ECOWAS, but then if you are coming to cause mayhem, don't come to my house. That is what we are saying. Yes.
We were speaking a little earlier, and then you described how difficult it is to get into the country. But you are going through the normal routes, coming from air. But how about those who are coming through the land borders and ungoverned spaces?
And you know, I'm going to look straight into my camera. I'm happy that we've now realized that it's foreign people, okay? And Veronica, I read the story. I'm not going to mention the people, but they mentioned the state of the where the people are from, but definitely not mentioning it on air. Yeah. But my problem is that now we know, what are we doing? We've been speaking about it a lot on this table, border security, but it seems like we keep talking about it and these people keep coming in. This is the first thing we need to fight when we talk about insecurity. Our borders need to be, why are foreigners even coming in the first place? Okay, we know that there's free ECOWAS movement, but are these people checked? How are they getting in? You know, we spoke about something before, but we can't even go deep into what we spoke about. But like, are those things that we spoke about happening, that these people are coming in? These are questions that need answers. And I'm glad we're talking about it also. We have an interview, so we'll get to speak more on that.
I think a reason that a lot of these people come in real, like you rightly said, is economic migration. They are coming in because of seasonal and climate changes to feed and to graze their herds.
And some to destroy.
Absolutely, but as Ms. Veronica mentioned, the ECOWAS Free Movement Protocol does allow for citizens of West African states free movement for them to come, but it's for economic growth, right? Not for this that is happening right now. But I will say I worry that are we foisting responsibility on others by saying it's foreign headers? Are we foisting responsibility and are we relegating responsibility and saying it's not our people?
No, but they caught some and they were not, they caught some, and those ones that they caught, they were speaking like people like where they are from. God do not let me mention the name. They were speaking like those people, so they could tell that these people were not Nigerians.
Absolutely, but I worry that generalization is also relinquishing responsibility.
Yeah, the issue of insecurity is not racist. It's not about your tribe or what do we call it, region, whatever it is. If you're a terrorist, you're a terrorist, regardless of the name you bear.
And you should not be allowed into the border.
Yeah, but it is good that the government is admitting that our borders are porous.
Right. This Nigeria, peace be unto you all. That's according to Robert Provo, who is the new Pope.
Peace be unto you.
Peace be unto you guys. Right, but because of our time, let's rush to Weekend Hope. And I want us to react to this very, human angle story. Court remands motorcyclist for raping friend's 12-year-old daughter. This is a very sad story. And then this guy, even in the court, was saying that the girl was 15 years old and that she's not too young for her to, know who a man is. That's one. And the fact that he got married to his own wife at 12-year-old. That's your wife. Do you have to rape somebody else? I do not understand it.
This story leaves a bad taste on my mouth. It's really sad. I wish I could see the man right now and give him a piece of my mind and perhaps raise my hands on him, because do you know how you have changed that girl's life forever? The implication on her mental health, what this will do to her psyche.
That's right.
It's because a lot of persons do not understand the implication of the actions they take and some of the statements they make, because it doesn't even sound remorseful in the first place.
That's right.
I hope that he'll be locked for life. That will be my own punishment for him, because you do not do that because you feel, oh, she's 15, she should know a man at this point. What kind of talk is that? How do you see that young girl and decide to force yourself on her?
That's right. We have just about 2 minutes, and to think that this girl's mother went to Libya to meet the man's wife, as a help, one, and then the fact that this girl's mother is this man's girlfriend.
But my problem is that who told him that 15 years should know a man? I don't understand. That is still young, because what I know is that from 18, actually. But even God, when I have children, it will be from 25. But yes, I know that it's from 18. My problem, they should not just put that man in prison, Veronica. They should cut that thing down there first, so that he feels the pain. First of all, when he's in prison, he should be suffering in prison, because he doesn't have any form of remorse. He's even saying that she should know a man at 15. Big shame on him. And also, I think that they don't understand what that girl is traumatized for life. That girl will grow up hating men. You wouldn't even understand why she would behave the way she behaved. And her mother, a big shame on her mother, because I don't understand why you should leave. When my dad died, that's something my mother said, I would never leave because you are a girl. I will stand by you, and that is what a mother should do. So big shame on the mother.
I think that everybody in this girl's community failed her, and I think it started from the moment her father left. Her mother went to Libya. We see what happens from the effects of parental negligence. We see that a child is already a vulnerable human being, and so when you now leave them unguarded like this, they become even more vulnerable to people like this. And when we fight for these child marriage bills to be passed into law, it is for people like this who need it it the most.
Of course,
When we have outrage online, it's for
laws.
young girls like this who are being failed by the system.
That's
We
right.
even have
These laws
politicians who have
exist.
married young
It's
girls.
sad. These laws exist. Unfortunately,
It is very, very
implementation
scary.
is always our challenge.
Yes, we are
the
snip,
thing.
snip.
So
I agree with you.
we hope
Yeah,
the right justice is taking over the man. Fenerbahce president confesses is meant to bid for Turkey. Well,
It's an
Osimhen
interesting
said
story.
No money
That
today.
is
Is it-
raising
is it
controversy.
kind
He
of-
said that he's that kind of player is someone you get once in 40 years.
Thank you.
Can
That's right.
imagine.
amazing.
It's
Once
a
in
lot.
4 decades.
That's right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's about it for the newspapers for review today. We have so much to come. Still